Though he grew up in the U.S., Isaac is undocumented like his mother and had to leave.
Trump just ordered the deportation of 500,000 Cuban, Venezuelan, and Haitian immigrants that came here the right way. And my question for my fellow Cubans is, are y'all still feeling special?
Breaking news, because this just happened a couple hours ago. The Supreme Court ruled, and it is going to allow Trump and his administration to strip the humanitarian parole of 500,000 people from 4 countries. A protection that was in place to keep them from being deported is being stripped, and it is going to result in at least 500,000 people being deported who come from 4 countries. Do you want to guess what one of those countries is? The very first one listed? Cuba.
In Miami's Little Havana, the conversation is changing. For years, politics have been felt settled here and shaped by memory, ideology, and a deep fear of anything that resembled the past people fled from. And voting was emotional, symbolic, almost automatic. But now, behind the cafecitos and domino tables, there is a quieter tone settling in: regret. Across South Florida, some Cuban immigrants are watching friends, relatives, and neighbors swept into machinery of immigration enforcement, work permits questioned, status re-examined, long-standing assumptions about safety suddenly gone. And for many, the shock isn't just the enforcement itself, it is the realization that political choices have consequences that do not stop at slogans. I didn't think it would reach us, in phrase heard more often now among the Cubans. So, my people, let us get into these clips. Let us watch the regret that is filling the faces of these Cubans after realizing that what they voted for is suffering and deportation. And if it is your first time to come across this channel, or if you have come across the channel and you have not yet subscribed, please consider to subscribe today and hit the notification bell so that you'll always be notified every time we upload a video. Let's get into it.
MAGA movement. They believed he'd control immigration, strengthen the economy, and protect the border in a way that favored them. But now, ironically, many of those same supporters are finding themselves caught in the very same deportation wave they thought they'd be safe from. I've seen so many people online, black, white, and Latino alike, commenting, "We tried to warn you, but you didn't listen." And you have to wonder, why did so many in the Latino community feel drawn to the MAGA movement instead of standing in solidarity with other minority groups? Maybe it was the promise of safety. Maybe it was wanting to fit into the American dream narrative, the idea that hard work and loyalty would guarantee belonging. But now reality is setting in, and it's showing that no matter how long you've lived here, no matter how much you've contributed to some systems, you're still seen as the other.
Are being deported in record numbers. Just last year, the Trump administration repatriated, aka deported, more than 1,600 Cubans back to Cuba. Now, for context, that is double the number of Cubans who were deported in 2024, and in the years that Trump has been president, he has sent more Cubans back than his 3 predecessors. And that's not mentioning all the Cubans that have been deported to Mexico, to places in Africa, to countries all over Latin America and the world because they had some sort of criminal conviction, and the Cuban government refused to accept them back into Cuba. Now, what's crazy is that polls suggest that most Cuban American registered voters, who obviously tend to be Republican, continue to support Donald Trump.
Oh no! Nobody could have seen this coming. Poor things. Oh geez, oh gosh. You voted for a fascist maniac and now you've gotten yourself into a snafu? You've been sent to Mexico? You're living in a tent? Geez. Oh no. I'm as blindsided as you are, really. Thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers. No, I get it. You thought it was for the other Spanish-speaking minorities. I totally understand. Common misconception. Pour one out for Republican Miami Cubans. Everyone feels really bad for them.
This video is for Cuban Americans, especially those in Florida. If you're not a Cuban American, that's okay. You can stick around, but I want this to reach that group specifically. Cuban Americans supported Donald Trump in a major way. You could argue that he won Florida because of Cuban Americans. And I just wanted to check in and show you all how Donald Trump is thanking you for your loyalty. Donald Trump is deporting Cubans in record numbers. Cubans had long benefited from legal privileges unavailable to immigrants from other countries, President Trump has changed that. For example, Heidi Sanchez took her 17-month-old daughter to a routine check-in last April with Immigration and Customs Enforcement in Tampa. During the appointment, federal authorities told her that she was being detained and that her husband should pick up their daughter, who was still breastfeeding. 2 days later, Miss Sanchez, 44, who worked as a home health aide, was deported, and she is Cuban. And that's due in part to the fact that Donald Trump repatriated more than 1,600 Cubans in 2025, according to the Cuban government. That's about double the number of Cubans who were repatriated in 2024. And in the years that Mr. Trump has been president, he has sent more Cubans back than his 3 predecessors combined.
Shocked that they're being deported by record-breaking numbers. And I gotta tell y'all, I'm shocked that they're shocked.
I will vote for Donald Trump.
You're taking workers away from their cities, and they will not be silent.
We're not criminals or anything. We're here legally.
Now he's vowing to get an attorney and fight for their release, and what he wants is support.
Trump was completely transparent. There was no fine print with this agreement. 2 things about that guy. He's going to tell you what he's going to do. And those things that he told you that he was going to do that he can't do is simply because he just don't have the power. And he overestimated himself to carry, the follow through with those things.
Cubans in Florida are being deported in record numbers. You heard me correctly. Cubans in Florida are being deported in record numbers. If you did not know, a lot of Cubans voted for Trump. Remember that song, I Will Vote for Donald Trump? Oh, well, I digress. They are being deported in record numbers. Yes, a lot of them came here and were granted asylum protection from Cuba, and now they are being deported back to Cuba in record numbers.
This is a Cuban Trump supporter from where else but Florida with a tattoo of Trump's face on his chest, who is now afraid he might get deported because of the recent surge in ICE activity. Watch.
He describes himself as a fan of President Trump, so much so, he showed us how his admiration for the president is skin deep. But his love for the commander-in-chief has turned a bit sour as ICE raids intensify across the country.
Your proximity to law enforcement today. I don't think it's very cute at all to glorify the Frozen Crew, considering, the facts we know today, boo. They deport U.S. Army veterans, too, even those who have received a Purple Heart, boo. And when it comes to the Frozen Crew and those who work inside of those detention centers, Donald's dock owls, yeah, whew. So I guess you could say Miss Birch was glorifying sexually abusing detainees with her Halloween display. Remember, in Mobile County, when it's time to vote in a new sheriff, it should not be Paul Birch, baby, because they are glorifying the Gestapo, pedos. And they think they're safe today because of their proximity to law enforcement and whiteness, baby. Like I said, it would be a shame if somebody called that Frozen Crew tip line today and sent a Miss Birch's way.
So bottom line is, they want them Cubans to get deported because they don't want them here. They want white people. Why y'all be begging to be so adjacent? What is wrong with y'all? Do y'all really believe that like your skin color makes you superior? Do y'all really believe that? Because, I just want you to, in case you don't know this, when you all came here and you were in, not just when you came here, but in the school systems, they put y'all in special ed classes and called y'all, I'm going to use the official word that was put down. They called y'all retarded. Retarded. That's what they said.
blinded them to the broader picture. Others are simply trying to survive the moment. And what's happening now isn't just about deportation. It is about collision between belief and reality, the heavy cost of discovering that it is too late, and that the system you defended does not see you as an exemption. So, my people, that is all I had to share for today. Please let's meet in my next episode. Peace out.